So I'm guessing you're here because you want to know how to build some muscle then. Well, it's no secret, you're going to have to lift some weights. You're not going to get by lifting your arms up and down with no dumbbells on the ends of them. So you might be thinking, what exercise have I got to do to get these big muscles? Well, that is up to you. Every exercise, oh God, this is getting heavy, will work, but it depends. For you, it might not be the best exercise, so we'll worry about that later. We'll do it in another video. And now we've told you that the exercise doesn't matter, we're going to tell you how to get the most out of the exercise that you do decide to choose. So, you know, curls gets you girls. So when we're going to start looking at hypertrophy or building muscle, there's three things that we want to consider. We need to, first of all, be resistance training. You need to lift some sodden weights. You're not going to get away with some videos that I see with people doing this type of stuff with a towel or nope, not going to work. Second one is going to be your proximity to failure when you're doing those exercises. So how close you get at the end of your set to crumpling under the weight. That's proximity to failure. And the third point is the tension of the exercise. So in simplistic terms, how much weight, how much load, volume that you do during that exercise. That's your three things. So when we think about that first point of resistance training, we need to think about seps and reps. Now, more importantly, we're going to think about the reps we're going to do. So what does the science say? What does all the literature say? Well, it tells us that we need to be doing, let me check this is the right height, otherwise I'm going to be doing a wonky squat. It tells us that we need to be doing, so, pop this up. So if we're doing 5 to 30 reps, we need to think about that second point, which is our proximity to failure. So we need to make sure the exercise is appropriate, the weight is appropriate, so we're talking about the tension, is appropriate to hit that 5 to 30 reps. So, they all intermingle and work together. So we'll speak a little bit more about that. We want to do these high rep exercises up to 30 reps. Then something more appropriate would be like a tricep extension. And the triceps, they do respond well to high rep exercises. So this would be a better choice. Not necessarily this exercise. You might hate this exercise. It might kill your elbows. So don't do it. There's plenty of other tricep exercises. Just an example. Whew, feel it growing already. Okay, so when we think about the other 2 points that I did mention, which was your proximity to failure and the tension or the muscle load, the weight that you're going to be lifting, how do we know that we're at those appropriate points? Well, there's three things that you kind of need to consider when you're doing that. First one is the stretch. You want to make sure the muscle is getting a good stretch. You're getting, if you're doing a chest fly, for instance, you're getting that chest right open, nice and deep. Feel the stretch across the chest. The second point that you'd like to be looking at is the burn of the muscle. So, you've all felt it when you've lifted weights that it starts getting heavy, you're getting that kind of metabolite, you know, all the bits inside your muscles, and lactic acid building up and they start to burn and you get into the, you know, doing press-ups and the back of the arms is going. That's the feeling you want to be getting to. And the last one, which everybody loves, is the pump. Not the pump in the good sense in the bedroom, the pump in the muscles. So we were looking at how much they're going to swell. You feel them getting bigger and bigger, then you know you're hitting the right thing. So those three things are good indicators that you are lifting the right load and getting to the right area close to failure. Okay, now we're going to move on to the main crux of this actual video, and a hot topic at the minute of muscle building hypertrophy world. It's not what you might think. Why should I take advice of this skinny Scotsman? It's range of motion during your exercise. How deep, how far, how big a range of motion should you actually be doing? Well, I'm going to tell you. A bit of research out on range of motion training. There'll see some stuff linked in the description, some papers that are relevant. What we're going to look at is this kind of three different areas, and we're going to use the good old bicep curl to help you understand what the hell I'm talking about. So the first thing is a full range of motion, which is obvious. It's what it sounds like. It's a full range of motion. So you're going through all the way through the muscle's actual range. So a bicep curl, all the way down, all the way up. Okay, that's the first one, the common one. The one that everybody for years has said, you need to be doing full range of motion. Fine, totally agree. Great way of building muscle. Now, literature is looking at things like lengthened partial ranges of motions. So that would be on a bicep curl, going from the bottom range, like that. So now we're going just in that lengthened range, and really we'd want that elbow forward. So we're keeping tension through the bicep at the bottom as well. That's the one option. And then the other option, which is what you see everybody doing, is partials in a shortened state. This one. So you see them in the gym. All the gym bros, they love a bicep curl at the top. So what does the research say? Well, it says full range of motion or lengthened partial range of motion, both great for hypertrophy. Now the literature on the lengthened stuff is fairly new, but it's good and it's promising, so it's worth reading, first of all, so you agree with what I'm saying, but it's worth incorporating into your training. This, however, has been shown to be a waste of sodding time. So you've got the lengthened partials, full range of motion, use them both. That's my advice, and that's what the papers say. Well, hopefully that's all made perfect sense to you in my eloquent and, articulate way of putting everything across to you. So hopefully you're a bit more clued up on how to build a little bit of muscle in terms of the science behind it. So yeah, points to think. You've got to remember, do some resistance training, that proximity to failure, and getting the right tension. Exercise selection, it's appropriate to you. Whatever you like, whatever you feel like you're getting that stretch, that burn, that pump from, do those exercises. That's what you need to do, okay? Grow some muscle. If you want to know a bit more about sets and reps specifically and what kind of splits works best for you, then we'll be talking that in another video. But for now, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Big love.